robust is William Samoei Ruto's plan and campaign machinery to win the presidency in 2022? Because for one to be declared the president of the Republic of Kenya, there are basic things they must have and put in place. They must have money to run the campaign. They must have grassroots support across the country. They must have ideology to rally their supporters around. They must have the energy to campaign across the country. They must have international networks. They must have perceived numbers. And they must also have the system. Or if not the system, they must have their people around the system. And the question is, how robust is William Ruto campaign machinery? So today I want us to look at some of these basic things, whether the deputy president have them already or not. But before we do that, if you're watching this video for the first time, I want you to take a second or two and click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And after clicking subscribe button, please don't forget to check the notification bell so that you will get notifications. Now back to the main issue, and I want to be very brief today. How robust is William Samoei Ruto's plan and campaign machinery for 2022? Is he ready for the presidency? And what are some of the basic things that William Ruto must have to be declared the president of the Republic of Kenya? Because so far he has declared his bid for the presidency. And from all indications, the deputy president is not leaving anything to chance. The first thing is finance. Does William Ruto have the money to finance the entire campaign? If you ask me, I think the deputy president is well prepared to finance the campaign. He can finance it alone. Because the deputy president first ventured into politics in 1992 through the Youth for Kanu. And he witnessed how money played a key role in shaping that particular general election. In 2002, William Samoei Ruto again was deeply involved in President Uhuru Kenyatta's campaign. He understood the power of money in campaigns. In 2007, he was with Raila Odinga, and he understood the power of money in campaign, and actually, to some extent, the system. In 2013, he was now the running mate to the deputy president, William Samoei Ruto. And in 2017, literally you can conclude that the deputy president was the one who managed the Jubilee or President Uhuru Kenyatta's re-election. So the deputy president understands the power of money in campaigns. And I strongly believe that William Ruto learned these things in 1992. And that's when he started applying money. People normally say that William Ruto knows how to spend money in campaigns. That's an act he learned from the former president, Daniel Toroitich arap Moi. And in 2013, once they won the election, the deputy president knew so well that he was going to face an election in 2022. So he started making money. And William Ruto made enough money for campaigns between 2013 and 2017. And by the time President Uhuru Kenyatta realized that this guy has already made money and tried to put stops, that one after they disagreed, tried to put stops by removing his people, the deputy president had already made enough money to finance his campaigns. Remember, in this country, there are several billions and billions of shillings, which at one point or the other, have been recovered. And almost most of them have always been traced. But so the fact of the matter is, the deputy president, William Samoei Ruto, is ready with the money to finance his campaign. What I don't know is whether he has friends who are also willing to chip in for his campaign. Because there are people in this country who I know for sure cannot finance their campaigns. One of them is Moses Wetangula. So even when Moses Wetangula will tell me that he's running for the presidency, at the back of my mind, I'll know that he's not serious. Gideon Moi has the capacity to run the campaigns. I'm sure Musalia Mudavadi can run the campaign. Raila Odinga has run the campaigns 3 times. Even if he doesn't have the money, he has enough friends to finance. But William Ruto can finance a campaign single-handedly. And this next campaign, let me assure you, William Ruto is going to spend money on that campaign to influence the voters. The second thing is grassroots support. Does the deputy president have the grassroots support across the country? In my view, the deputy president is safe. Already he has Rift Valley and Central Kenya. So those two blocks are enough for him. But the deputy president, I'm sure, because of the money he has, can still manage to create grassroots support across the country. In fact, I've been telling people that the biggest problem the deputy has is creating his own grassroots networks, because he's been banking on the networks of others. Like, for example, in Malindi, the deputy president is banking on Aisha Joba. In Mombasa, he's banking on the networks of Jichopevu. When you come to Western Kenya, he's banking on the networks of those his allies. And that's normally pose a challenge. If these guys will decide to dump him last minute, he will face a challenge. But I believe the deputy president has the capacity to create his own network which, from using a phone call alone, can be easily activated. Raila Odinga has that network, and I witnessed it during the last general election. So that when Raila Odinga is going to a place, already he has his people. He doesn't need to contact local leaders there. He can just place a phone call to one of his contacts there, who will then activate those networks. So I think, despite the fact that the DP might not have networks in other parts of the country, I strongly believe that he can easily create that, because already he has a network, grassroots network in Rift Valley and in Central. And again, he can even use the networks for Jubilee, which Jubilee used during the last election. Number 3 is ideology. Is there something which the deputy president can use to rally people around? In 2002, for example, the ideology was simple: remove KANU out of power. And in 2007, Raila Odinga used change as his rallying call. Uhuru Kenyatta used generational change, so that the old guards were actually transferring power from the old generation to the new generation. What is William Ruto's ideology? What can he use to rally people around him? I think so far he's going to use the hustler narrative. So whether the people are going to buy it or not, I still don't know. But it's already resonating so well with the masses. The only challenge is the deputy president is not a hustler. And people will start poking holes on that particular narrative. And I saw Mutahi Ngunyi already has started, because it was coined by Mutahi Ngunyi. He has already started dismantling that narrative. So that's still a challenge. Number 4 is the energy. Is William Ruto energetic enough to campaign? Can he manage to traverse the entire country when the bell is rung? I am sure William Ruto is a workaholic, so he can easily traverse the entire republic without problems. We know that since the last general election, the deputy president has been on a campaign trail throughout the country from that time up to now. So I'm sure he can sustain him. He can still sustain it until the end of the next general election in 2022, unless something happens along the way. But I strongly believe that the deputy president has the energy to campaign. Number 5 is the international networks. You cannot be declared the president of the Republic of Kenya if you don't have international networks. Raila Odinga managed to become the Prime Minister of the Republic of Kenya because the international community stood with him. If they had dumped him, he would not have managed to do anything. They believed probably he won, but Mwai Kibaki had taken over the presidency. So the international community intervened. So who can intervene for the deputy president internationally, in case his victory is being stolen? Because in this country, one thing don't count. One thing doesn't count: vote. So don't assume that kama uko na kura moja, you can go and cast it and your kura ita count. It doesn't count. So William Ruto, in my view, still doesn't have enough international network. And the moment he tried creating networks and he went to Chatham, we know what happened. He was recalled back to the country. Again, when the budgets were being slashed, his international travels were also slashed. I'm not sure which country the deputy president has traveled to this year. Maybe you can tell me. The other country, the only country I know the deputy president traveled to was in Italy. But he didn't even travel on an official trip. That was probably to fix the Aror and Kimore scandal. And again, he has a friend who is reliable, I think, Yoweri Museveni. But can Yoweri Museveni alone be enough to help him when things are thick? I'm not so sure. So that's the only area, that's one of the areas I think the deputy president will still need to work on. Number 6 is numbers. For you to be declared the president of the Republic of Kenya, for the system to support you, you must be perceived to have numbers. Even if those numbers don't exist, a perception must be created that you have numbers. William Ruto can leverage on the perception which was created for Jubilee Party. Uhuru Kenyatta and the system realized that Raila Odinga was controlling the entire republic. So they came up with what they were calling the tyranny of numbers through Mutahi Ngunyi. And if you studied how the tyranny of numbers was being flashed on the faces of Kenya, you'll be surprised. When IEBC released the figures in 2013, those figures were categorized in terms of provinces. Well, we know so well that in this country we no longer have provinces. So, but they were grouped in that. So that we had a Rift Valley coming as top with around 3.7 million, and then Central had around, I think, 2.7 million voters, registered voters. And then Nyanza was coming at number 2 with 2 point something, then followed by Western with also 2 point something. So the idea behind that and regionalizing them was to prove a point that these two gentlemen actually, despite that they had support from 2 tribes, had the tyranny of numbers. So the message was that even if you guys vote the way you want, these guys will still win. So I think as things stand today, the deputy president has enough support in Central Kenya. He also has enough support in Rift Valley. And that's a good start for him. So what he needs is just to go to Western Kenya, convince people there to support him, go to Coast, penetrate Coast, go to Kisii. Of course, Kisii gave Uhuru votes, gave Kibaki votes. Go to Kisii there. In Nyanza, he can go to Korea, which has always voted against the Luos from the time Raila Odinga started contesting for the presidency. But the fact of the matter is the deputy president has a head start when it comes to numbers, perceived that he has Rift Valley and he has Western. And again, in Central Kenya, the deputy president still has an advantage. He can appeal to the emotions of those people, because there's a narrative in this country that the people of Central Kenya cannot vote for someone else outside Central Kenya, and that they can't keep promise. So some of those guys can actually decide to vote for the deputy president to convince the entire republic that Central Kenya can actually promise you something and deliver. And beyond that, in Rift Valley, there's high presence of the Kikuyu people. So again, the deputy president can use them to blackmail their brothers in the mountain region. So why am I saying that? He can easily tell them that for you to enjoy peace, and this is a narrative which has been here with us, for you guys to enjoy peace, you need to support the deputy president. And lastly, the system. And the question is, does William Ruto have the system? We know already the system is against him. But in that system, does he have, in that system, are there people who are sympathetic to him? And the system not necessarily to help him win. The system, he must have people around the system who will always tell him what's happening. Raila Odinga has always been able to maneuver around the system for this long because of one thing. He had his own people around the system. He had his own intelligence. So these guys would always tell him that this is their plan. So Raila Odinga would always plan ahead of them. This is their plan. He would always go ahead and plan ahead of them. When Dennis Itumbi and the group were kicked out of State House, do you know why they were kicked out? They were kicked out because there are elements within the system who believed that Dennis Itumbi and the group were the ones who were leaking information to the deputy president. These guys are trying to cut the deputy president from any information. So Itumbi, what was the name of the guy? Ngeno, and that team had to leave. But still, the deputy president is still capable of getting information. In fact, as things stand today, the deputy president is still able to get certain classified information, which he normally leaks through Dennis Itumbi from the system. So the system has been trying to seal all these loopholes, to deny him access to information. But from all indications, the deputy president probably still has enough people within the system who are sympathetic to him, who are telling him what these guys are planning. That's why the deputy president is always ahead. Take, for example, the Building Bridges Initiative. Do you know why the deputy president is supporting the Building Bridges Initiative? He's supporting the Building Bridges Initiative because the system had wanted the deputy president to oppose it. So that once he opposes it, then the system was going to go, people were going to go for the referendum, popular initiative. And the deputy president was then going to be subjected to campaign. So he was going to sponsor or to fund that particular campaign, because if he was going to be defeated, that would be a bad image for him. So the deputy president, they were intending to force the deputy president to run against the government, and his money were going to be burnt there. And because he had his people around the system, these guys told him the plan. And therefore the deputy president decided that I'm also going to support this. That's why they were saying, mulete tu tutapitisha, mulete tu tutapitisha. What about the in parliament? What happened recently where his allies were kicked out? The deputy president seemingly has been very ready. The other thing is, why is he still sticking with Jubilee? Because the system has told him what these guys want. They want you out so that you don't use state machinery. So what is the deputy president's response? The deputy president has responded by insisting that he is still part of the government. He's being humiliated, but he's not going to leave the government, because by being the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya, there are benefits to that. So because of those 7 reasons, I think, if you ask me, if I were to rate the deputy president preparedness and his campaign machinery for 2022, I would give it, out of 10, I would give it 7 or maybe 8. And I think that's a good start. There are people who want to run for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya. They've never been to any part of this country. The deputy president, as things stand today, has traversed the entire republic. And I think because he has traversed the entire republic, I strongly believe that the deputy president has what it takes to contest for the presidency. So anybody who is planning to challenge the deputy president in 2022 must think twice. He must prepare that money is going to play a key role. He must prepare himself that the deputy president has penetrated the system. He must be prepared that the deputy president is currently working on ideology to put in the minds of the voters the narrative of either the hustlers or dynasties. So they must find another narrative to counter the deputy president. And that's my take. I don't know what you think. And again, to the subscribers on this channel, I want to thank you guys. You're just amazing. I've never met an amazing team like you guys. You always support this channel by giving it thumbs up, giving it thumbs down if you don't like, because from there I told you guys, just give it thumbs up if you like it, or just thumbs down if you don't like it, because from that I'll be able to know which kind of video is good, so that next time I'm coming up with a video idea, I come with a video idea which I know you guys are going to enjoy. The reason I'm doing these videos is for you guys to enjoy. If I make a video and you don't enjoy, what's the need of it? Actually, there's no need. Sometimes I spend, like now, this one is almost 20 minutes. So for you to take your 20 minutes to watch a video, then it means you should be enjoying it. So I want to thank you guys. And again, the people who share the content with their friends, I appreciate that so much. I just don't know how to tell you that. But I appreciate the fact that you take your time, share them in your WhatsApp group. And the people who continue to drop their comments, I'm very happy, because from those comments, we create interactions. And out of those interactions, you might not know, but out of those interactions, I actually learn a lot. Like on this one, I want to camp on it. I normally go to the gym. So I want to camp on the comment section to try and respond to a few comments which are going to come first before I leave. So that from there, we learn a lot. You know, nobody has monopoly of ideas. So I learn a lot from you guys. And to those who normally buy me coffee, I want to thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. There's a guy from Garissa, Abdi. I've actually looked for you, but your phone is not going through. because I promised to call you. So the guys who normally send me coffee, thank you guys. It goes a long way. Like now I've improved, out of those I've improved the quality of the audio. I'm trying to make a few changes to just make this thing now a studio. Thank you guys, and please enjoy your day.